Hello friends, welcome. Friends, today I am going to revisit a topic on which I have spoken and written about multiple times in past. What is the topic? The topic is called direct to mobile. Now, before I tell you the reason why I am revisiting this topic, let me explain in simple terms for those viewers who do not have any clue what I am going to talk about is what is direct to mobile. Direct to mobile is receiving linear TV broadcast signal on your mobile screen, just like what you receive on your TV screen. That is as simple as that. For that, you don't have to spend any money on data. It is going to be free of cost. It is going to be completely circumvent the conventional mobile network, and your phone is going to become broadcast capable, just like FM. Because when you are listening to FM radio using a mobile phone, you are not consuming any data, right? So that is what similar to that D2M works in a similar manner. What it only does is, in case of FM, it is a voice signal. D2M is enabling the mobile to receive linear, commercial linear channel on mobile phones, right? Now, friends, why I'm doing this video, having spoken about this topic multiple time in past. The reason I'm doing this topic is that reputed player like HMD, Lava, Tata, Sinclair, Intel, they are now talking about or working together to come out with direct to mobile enabled phones. The phones will now be enabled with direct to mobile capability. Now, when serious players are working in that direction, it makes sense to re-evaluate the topic and try to understand or analyze that whether I have did anything wrong when I spoke about it and said that this D2M is complete waste of time. I would like to revisit this topic and analyze the business case of D2M, going deep each and every aspect to show you that what is the market size of D2M, likely market size, and why I think that D2M in India is a complete waste of time, right? So friends, without wasting any time, let's go to the slide deck that I have prepared to talk about this subject, right? And you will clearly understand why I am saying that D2M is a complete waste of time after looking at these numbers. So those who are interested, they may stay with me and you will find this video very, very useful, because many commercial players are working unnecessarily on devices which is going to have no value. And I'm going to show you why these devices will have no value and there will be nothing in the market to support these devices commercially. Nobody is going to buy these devices. That is the whole purpose of this video. So the title of this presentation is The Commercial Illusion of D2M in India. And why I have chosen this title, you will come to know as I go through this presentation. And everything is going to be factual, friends. There is nothing which is going to be speculative in nature, right? And if there is something wrong which I do, please let me know in the comment section. So it is an assumption-backed business case analysis. So let's go step by step. What D2M proponents claim? They claim, and the proponents are Ministry of Information Broadcasting, Doordarshan, Sinclair, Lava, Tejas, Intel, they are all promoting D2M. What is the narrative? The narrative is low-cost dongles or devices which are capable of receiving broadcast signal directly on mobile phone, which will serve TV dark spot, because where there is no TV capability, and free spectrum, and plus free spectrum will enable mass adoption. That's the whole assumption. Okay. So D2M will revolutionize TV access in India. That's the tagline. Now let's look at our business case and what the business case tells us. Now, when you are talking about free TV reception, you have to have certain benchmark to compare with, because something which is not clear, where there is no experience, you cannot do business case just in the air. You have to take a reference. So for me, the reference is DD Free Dish, because this is almost like a similar model, not as similar as D2M, because D2M is more personalized. This is for family viewing. Free Dish is for family viewing, for household viewing, right? So this is the only valid reference because this is an advertisement driven model. There is no subscription driven model. And I believe that D2M will also be an advertisement driven model because you are promoting free TV access on your mobile phone without using conventional mobile network, right? That's all you're doing. So all assumptions will be detailed and conservative, right? So let's go the benchmark of DD free dish of year 2024. So there are certain numbers that are on the table. We are going to talk about those numbers. We have around 50 million, 49 million household watching free dish. Maybe a little bit here and there number, but let's take it 49 million or 50 million. Now, if you are going to assume that is what the analysts say, that 4% per household. So if you multiply this 49 million with 4, you will see that total viewers are going to be 196 million, roughly 200 million. Because you have 49 multiplied by 4. Actually, it should be 4.2, but I have taken 4 for the purpose of simplicity, right? Now, we also know that a DD free dish is driving how many channels? 180 TV channels. And the ad revenue, I've checked with multiple sources, it kind of fluctuates between rupees 2,000 crores to 4,000 crores per year. That's the total ad revenue. And if you go to the auction of those channels, you will find that this reflects, the revenue number clearly reflects the price that has been discovered in the auction. So there is no confusion about this number of 2,000 crores to 4,000 crores of ad revenue that we are able to see today in case of free dish. So it is a mature and you can say more or less subsidized platform, free dish. And that's going to be our reference point when we evaluate D2M. Now, D2M technical limits. Because whenever you are evaluating D2M versus free dish, you have to take into consideration that what are the technical limits on which a D2M network is going to work, without which you will not be able to upscale or downscale those numbers, right? So typically D2M will have 56 megahertz spectrum, right, in the broadcast band. I think 56 actually I'm taking very, very large because to drive one channel of 8 megahertz is going to cost you a lot of money. So this assumption that I'm making is basically more an optimistic assumption. I don't think that anybody will be able to drive 56 megahertz, but let's give it to D2M, right? So one channel of 8 megahertz within this block of 56 megahertz will result in 56 SD channel. Now, as I told you, then in free dish, there are 180 channels. Now here you have got 56 SD channels. So the content limitation factor will be 0.13 or 0.31. Why? 56 divided by 180. So if you are going to get an advertisement revenue for DD free dish because of the number of channel of 180, which is 2,000 crores to 4,000 crores, anything between that, your potential of advertisement in the mobile segment of D2M has to be scaled down by 0.31 because the number of channels are going to be limited. It's simple as that, right? So this number, is very, very easy and logical to understand. Fewer channels means lower user engagement because more number of channels you drive, more advertisement revenue. If you can drive less number of channels, you'll get less advertisement revenue. As simple as that, right? Because that is the only business model which probably is going to work in case of D2M because it will be free to air just like FM, right? Now let's look at the another thing. Projecting D2M active users, because it's also important to understand how many active users are going to watch TV, right? So for that, we have to take into consideration the smartphone market. 700 million smartphone market, assume, right, by 2030. Because we are doing a business case in the future, not now, right? Assume that 20% of those smartphones are going to be D2M capable. So 140 million devices, right? I don't think those 140 million devices, everybody will watch D2M. It's very, very clear that nobody has a time. Nobody is interested in watching TV because most people already have direct, you can say video on demand and everything. Nobody today watches TV because if the TV viewership is going down. So let's assume those dark TV spot area is going to watch D2M. This whole narrative is set like that because dark TV spot area So 20% of those devices, 10% of those devices out of this 140 will watch D2M. It makes a lot of sense because you can't expect that everybody will start watching D2M because otherwise people will get blind. And when people already have TV, right, that is the narrative, right? So why would anybody watch in a small screen? They will watch in the big screen, right? So assume that 14 million users are going to watch, which means that 14 divided by 196, because the whole ecosystem of the subscriber base for free to air, we have calculated 186 million. So D2M will be what? 14 million divided by 196 million, and you can do your own business case. The numbers are right in front of you. You can change this to 28 million or 30 million, whatever you want. But for me, it is 7% of the free dish audience, right? You can make it 10%, 20%, whatever you want, right? Now, realistically, D2M revenue model, which we have to calculate. We know that free dish ad revenue is rupees 2,000 crore to 4,000 crores. We know that the TV viewing is going down in India. If you look at the latest report, I'm going to show you the report which I just downloaded of Fiki, and you can see that how the TV viewership is going down. I'm going to show you here. This is not a expanding market. Look at this. Look at this. Digital media is actually at the forefront. Look at the television. It is going down from 788, what is this, $1 trillion? No, it is billion rupees. It has gone down to 667 rupees, the broadcast television. So it is on a downhill path. The television actually is a downhill path with 0.6% CAGR, right? And on which you are creating a business case of D2M. Look at this. Look at this number. This is coming from the recent report, which was released by Fiki, right? So let me take this away and then we'll go straight to the presentation. So you have a free dish revenue model, revenue of 2,000 to 4,000 crores. We have already calculated the content factor of 0.31. What is content factor? Just to revisit that number, this is 56 divided by 180. 56 channel divided by 150. So that is there. Then there will be another factor called watch time factor. Now you don't want to get blind, right? Let's say if you're watching TV for 6 hours, you will never watch your broadcast TV on mobile phone for 6 hours. So I have assumed a watch time factor also of 0.3, 30% of what you watch, right? And then the user factor we already calculated, 0.07. What was that? Here, for 14 million divided by 196 million, right? So this gives a projected revenue of 13.4 to 26.8 if you take 2,000 crores, right? If you take 4,000 crores, this number, if you take 2,000 crores, this comes out to be 13.4. And if you take 4,000 crore, this number comes out to be 26.8 crore per year. This is the market size. You can imagine 4,000 crore if you assume the best case scenario for DD free dish, the D2M market from an advertisement point of view comes out to be how much? 26.8 crores. Now we are going to expand this further just to give D2M the opportunity to succeed, right? So this is what we have calculated based on these assumptions, right? So let's go down. Let's go for an hypothetical situation. 600 million devices, dream rebuttal. Let's say all 600 million devices are capable. So that will give a revenue of 557 using those assumptions. Same assumptions that I'm talking about. Oh, my pen has gone. Let me just take my pen again. Just a minute. Where is my pen? Yeah. Show screen burst. Yeah. So these assumptions that you see, the same assumptions I have used. Here I have used how much? The number of devices were less. So I am now, what I'm doing is I am assuming these devices, these devices, 14 million instead of 14 million, I am using 600 million. So 600 divided by what is that? 196. That will come out with a factor. So this will get multiplied. This number is going to get multiplied, 13.4. So you will get a number of 557 to 114 crores per year. You're getting it? So this reality is what? Because this is the best case situation. 600 million devices are getting D2M enabled. But the reality is there will be screen fatigue, battery limit, secondary usage limit. So what I will do, I will bring it down. I will bring this number down to 100 to 200 crores, which is the best case situation, right? Because this is maybe a little bit of a stretch. So this is probably the best case situation, right? So why these dream will fail? Because the viewer time is 5 to 10% of the free dish attention. Devices is not equal to household CPM drops. No broadcaster will pay existing full national reach. So you need a national reach. This is important. You need a national reach in order for this whole business case that I'm talking about to succeed, because free dish has got national reach. Now comes the basic problem. The problem is that before I talk about this slide, the killer comparison, I will tell you that there are two models, and I'm going to show you my article which I have written. So this is the article. So this is the hybrid network architecture, right, for D2M, which we have got a tower, a broadcast tower, and then there are small cell sites, which is working in an integrated fashion with the high power transmission. The high power transmission has got a larger reach, and the small cell sites of D2M has got a smaller reach. Now, let me tell you, friends, that if you ask anybody, Tejas or whoever, Sinclair, they are not working on the high broadcast model. They are only working on the low broadcast model. Why? Because this high broadcast model does not penetrate inside the house. No, you can't expect anybody to sit under the sun and watch TV. Everybody who wants to watch either will be in a shade or inside their house, somewhere closed door, right? So this low power model is going to work. The high power is not going to work, which means that the overall network of D2M will replicate the same intensity of a typical mobile network. That is what the main problem is. You have to create a pan-India parallel network similar to what a typical mobile network looks like. That creates a problem. Why? Because the D2M realistic number we spoke about, 100 crores, is the total market, right? Market size on a revenue, from an ad revenue point of view. 600 million dream is 65. Let's take 600 million also, right? 600 crores, let's take that. But we know that the real best case is 100 to 200 crores. Can you imagine Airtel, who is running a full-fledged mobile network today, right? They have bought spectrum, etc. Let's keep the spectrum price aside. Let's look at only the operational cost. They are generating an operational EBITDA margin of 24,880 crores, which is 55%. So their revenue is huge. On a quarterly revenue is huge. If you divide this by 0.55, you can see the revenue is huge, which means the operational cost of running their network is so large that this 600 crores of revenue that we're talking about annual, this is actually, by the way, quarterly number. You have to multiply this by 4. This number, which is looks like a Lilliput. You know that how much Airtel revenue is, yearly revenue is. Now, if you divide this by 4, this is the dream number, 600 million dream number. You can't even imagine that you can create a network of that scale in order to have a ubiquitous coverage in all the places. Even let's say assume that you don't have an ubiquitous coverage and you are only looking for those mobile dark spot areas. Still, the network is going to be so huge that you will never be able to justify a small revenue of 600 crores, which is the most optimistic revenue. The real world revenue is just 100 crores, right? On a yearly revenue. How can you sustain a network, friends? Let me ask you this question. What are we talking about, right? So the final conclusion is dongle price is not going to increase your revenue, right? Ad revenue needs attention plus demand plus household reach. D2M failed all tests. Maximum revenue is 100 to 200 crores per year. Best case, commercially pointless R&D experiment. That's all I can say. Summary is D2M is commercially dead on arrival. It's a complete waste of time, friends. There is no viable path for pan-India network. Advocates are chasing an illusion. Recommendation is focused on broadband and OTT mobile data. And if you want that spectrum, which is currently being talked about to be used for D2M, you can leverage it in such a way that it integrates with the mobile network for enabling video on demand, right? So that you can basically send a signal in the uplink and seek, video on demand or movie on demand rather than this whole concept of broadcast. This is a complete failure, friends. You can see that the numbers are right in front of you, right? Because you know that the infrastructure reality is very, very different because you require a full national low power dense network for indoor mobile penetration. The high power TV is unsustainable because it was designed for broadcast TV, not for mobile. This high power TV towers. This network structure that we're talking about in India is for mobile. There is not a single test case anywhere in the world where D2M is being worked for mobile phones, effectively, cost effectively. They are only for TV reception, right? Wherever there is a reference, right? So the problem would be who will build, who will run, who will maintain. You can give free spectrum, that is fine. But you require a network, right? You have to spend money on those devices. You have to have an operating cost, diesel cost, power cost. There are so many things which are required to be, consumed to run a network. Consumer won't pay for advertisement. TV, viewing is going down. Government is unlikely to subsidize. It's a completely a waste of time. Again, I'm telling you, friends, spectrum cost is irrelevant. CapEx, OpEx for rollout is the true killer. Conclusion, there is no viable business model. D2M structurally and commercially is a technically dead on arrival, friends. That's all I want to say. I have been extremely blunt about this, friend. This initiative is not going to be successful. Let me tell you, I can bet on it that this is a complete failure, friends. Okay, friends? So that's all I wanted to talk about you, because the reason I did this video is I found that, there are players with so much amount of credibility involved in creating devices for a system which does not even exist, and they can't even deploy a network, right, on a scale where it makes sense. Thanks, friends, for your time. And I hope that you like this video, and let me know what you think about it. In case you find it interesting, let me know in the comment section. And if you have any feedback, also let me know. I will take a notice of your feedback and answer your question. I'll come back with a new video next time on a new topic. Thanks for watching till then.